Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Sorry for our delay of the program, but welcome to another episode of the all new TTown 411 report. Darren McKinstry, along with my good friend Mike Wilson on Soundproof Radio 106.1, and our very own COVID update nurse of the week, nurse of the month, nurse of the year, Miss Veronica Taylor. She's providing us with our COVID update as of today. But before we get into that, Mike, tell them how can they sound in on Sound Booth Radio and Sound Booth TV.
Good night, Daryl. Check us out on Sound Booth Radio. Just go to your iOS. Once you download that free app, and you go to the search bar, type in Sound Booth Radio. 106.1. That'll get you on with us on the radio side, Sound Booth Radio. You check us out on the video side. You can check us out on Facebook, Michael K. Wilson, or Sound Booth Radio. Or you can go to YouTube and type in Sound Booth Radio 106.1. That'll get you on with us on Sound Booth TV.
Well, those that want to join us also, they can join us on our community conversation program. We're broadcasting live from T-Town 411 and our community conversations. So you can join either way through YouTube, Facebook Live, just by sharing it to another person's page. So we want to thank everyone that's chiming in each and every week on the program. We do still have the community conversations. If you have any announcements you don't need to make, please send me those inboxes of announcements so I can get them on quickly. Um, our COVID update as of today, June 22nd at 3:53, there were 24 inpatients within the DCA systems that are positive for COVID-19, and that's up 8 from last week. 5 or fewer inpatients positive for COVID-19 that are being treated in the ICU, and no patients positive for COVID-19 on ventilators. Fair use copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for the fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. We just want to also let people know the opinions expressed in this presentation are my personal or the other person's personal opinion and must not be construed as an expression representing the opinion of any institutions with which I or any of our guests or have been affiliated in our professional life. I'm going to change that. So, in other words, the companies or people that we work for or had worked for, this does not by any means represent them or our opinion represent that institution that we work for or has worked for in the past. Mike used to work for the cable company, and I used to work for the police department. So anything we say is not necessarily the opinion of any of those organizations, and we just want to let people know that these are our personal opinions. I want to say hello to Patricia Sunshine Williams as well as Betty Hopkins. How you doing? Thank you all for chiming in. We got our good friend Veronica already on the line with us. We're going to go ahead and say a quick prayer um, before we get started. As I said, the inboxes of pray for me, pray for me, pray for me has continued to get long and longer and longer. So I'm just praying for everybody. Just a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this time to come on the airwaves and share great information and our personal opinions. Heavenly Father, right now we want to thank you for all our essential workers, our doctors and our nurses and the receptionists and the cooks and the laundry department, the housekeeping department. We just want to thank you for all those people that are sacrificing themselves as well as their families to try to keep us safe. Heavenly Father, we're praying for all our law enforcement officers and our fire officers and all our public works people. Heavenly Father, we're praying for everyone right now. Right now, we're asking that you continue to go in with the sick. Heavenly Father, we're asking for a healing hand for all our sick and wounded. We're also praying for our families in the nursing home. We're asking that you continue to look over all our elderly. But Heavenly Father, right now we're praying, asking for a special prayer for the McKinstry family right now. We're asking that you look over Laquita McKinstry as she's been in the hospital for over 5 or 6 days now. We're asking that you continue to watch over her and bless her through this time of illness right now, Heavenly Father. Right now, we're praying for all the bereavement families, those that are going through far and near. We're asking for traveling grace for those that are traveling for family reunions and just going out on vacations. And Father, continue to look over them. Right now, praying for everyone on this screen, Veronica and Mike and all our families. Praying for our pastors and all the doctors and nurses, Heavenly Father. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Amen. Amen. Yes. Betty Hopkins, we're praying for you. Thank you for what all you do. Tina Sanders, all of you, all this chiming in. Sorry for being a little late. For some reason, my Facebook page has been logging out. Every night that we go off, it logs me out of this particular location. But we're going to figure it out. We're going to get it straight. And we are here. So tonight we want to talk about whatever you all want to talk about. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen the NAACP, and I hope Lisa come on with us. She issued a statement out. I guess I could go ahead and read it. I guess the press release by let's see, can I get it to come up? Okay. The NAACP issued a press conference, and it's coming from our president, Miss Lisa Young, and it's pertaining to. On the line, by the way. She is there. Okay. Yeah. Well, she can tell us a little bit more about it. And from my understanding, let me read while she's on the line. She can go ahead and tell now. I think something came through my phone about an arrest being made. So Lisa, you can go ahead and take over and tell us where we at.
So I was notified earlier today that a young lady that attends Shelter State Community College there was a video posted where she was threatened, where she had made a statement about killing, she used a derogatory term, the N word. I immediately reached out to Shelter State administrators and representatives from local TPD. Learned that Shelton had already been made aware of it and they were acting on it and was working with the police on it. Now, the one thing that upset to me, somebody has reported it to Facebook standards, and if you go to the NAACP page, I've received notification that our page has been restricted. So, but I only posted what she did, and I think that I'm gonna have to appeal it. Because this is, I don't understand why somebody. Well, you know why somebody reported it, because they don't want it up there. But we need to. She was charged with a misdemeanor. That was pushed. Our district attorney didn't think she should be charged with anything. Didn't I tell y'all? He didn't think that just talking. He didn't think that she was supposed to be charged with anything, but now we have federal investigators involved. Because here's the thing. This is the same type individual that would sit up and kill somebody and then pretend that she was the victim. Mm-hmm. What does she feel for her life? We can't continue to take threats like this. Lightly. And she was just playing. And she's a student. Also, she was one of those people that could wind up being like they just had in Texas, or we just had in the state of Hills last week. Just come in and start a shooting spree, and today, she was just playing, but next week Exactly. But she had a mental problem. So. But they just seem like she had a mental problem. See, the next time you know, she gonna be claiming that people are harassing her and ask the police to protect her. And then she's the victim. And we'll be playing the race card. And we'll be playing the race card. You know, the minute that I saw the video, I was thinking, my grandkids might be in Walmart right now. One of my kids may be in Walmart right now. Somebody that I love, somebody that I know, might be in Walmart right now and could be a target for her. Well, she's a Shelton State student. She's a Shelton nursing student. Nursing student. That's what we have to come to the field of nursing. She may get mad at the professor. She may get mad at another student. Imagine somebody that would say something like that practicing. Exactly. Exactly. But we're supposed to talk it up because she was just talking. But we've had all these incidences around her. And they would have the nerve to say, she's just talking and we're playing the red card, then she becomes a victim. But see, this is what happens when your elected officials start worrying about being reelected than doing their job. Mm-hmm. Because if you had a city hall meeting right now, they'd quell up. It's not good because of this. It's not good because of that. It's not good because it's racist. It's not good because it's a safety. It's safety at hand. People are at risk of her snapping or intentionally doing. She sat there and she said it. She wasn't in any distress. They thought it was funny.
Well, the article reads: Tuscaloosa woman arrested for racist Walmart video perceived as a threat. A Tuscaloosa woman was arrested Thursday after a video perceived as a racist threat circulated around social media. In a short video, a 20-year-old woman lifts up her pants leg to show that it appears to be a firearm concealed in her boot. In the video, the young woman can be heard saying, "Concealed carry, MFer, I'll shoot an Inger, N-word, in Walmart." The video appeared to have been shared on Snapchat, then screen recorded and uploaded to Facebook, where it drew fury from the community Thursday. A spokesperson for the Tuscaloosa Police Department told the thread that investigators were made aware of the video by administrators at Shelton State Community College, where the person in the video is reportedly a nursing student. The suspect was interviewed at TPD Thursday and was ultimately charged with disorderly conduct, a misdemeanor for her behavior. It is the general policy of the Tuscaloosa thread to not identify suspects accused of misdemeanor by name. In a press release, Lisa Young, president of the Tuscaloosa County branch of the NAACP, called the content of the video a domestic terrorist statement and thanked Shelton State and TPD for their actions. Now,
and the Supreme Court did the ruling that they just made today. That's what prompted her to go ahead and say and thought it was funny.
Let's look at the charge: disorderly conduct, or should it been inciting a terrorist threat? Which one of y'all think
it should have been inciting a terrorist threat? It would have been had I said, had it been a 10-year-old black child saying that's what it would have been. A 10-year-old black child, that's what it would have been.
Make an interesting point.
We need to remember this when we go to the polls and we voted for a district attorney. Your VA did not think that she should be charged with anything.
I beg to differ. Let's see what disorderly reads. Disorderly conduct is considered a crime against the public health in which a person fights or engages in tumultuous conduct that results in making reasonable noise that disrupt a group of people. A drunk person who acts in a dangerous or disturbing ways in public is guilty of public intoxication. Let's see. I just don't think that was the best charge.
It definitely was not the best charge. It's basically a slap on the wrist to what she's doing, and basically saying, "Hey, don't do it again." And what they doing is they keeping her reputation intact so that she can become a nurse. So she can still become a nurse. Exactly. But here's the thing: if it was me, they would make sure that I was unemployable.
Okay, here's another reading. Here's the code. I was just reading somebody's opinion. A person commit the crime of disorderly conduct if with intent to cause public inconvenience, annoyance, or alarm, or recklessly creating a risk thereof, he or she does of any of the following: engage in fighting in a violent, tumultuous, or threatening behavior, make unreasonable noise, 3. In a public place, use abusive or obscene language or make an obscene gesture. 4. Without lawful authority, disturbs any lawful assembly or meeting of a person. 5. Obstruct vehicular or pedestrian traffic or a transportation facility. 6. Congregate with other persons in public place and refuse to comply with a lawful order of law enforcement to disperse. B. Disorderly conduct is a class C misdemeanor. It shall be a rebuttable presumption that the mere carrying of a visible pistol, holster, or secured in a public place in and of itself is not a violation of this section. I don't see anything under those criteria. Okay, she created an alarm or annoyance, but I just don't think that's going to be the correct charge. Let's read a terrorist threat. Okay. Alabama Code 13E-10-15. Terrorist threat. A person commits the crime of making terrorist threat when he or she threatens by any means to commit any crime of violence or to damage any property by doing any of the following. So, when she stated the word, I'm going to kill a Negro in Walmart, does that not meet the terms of commit a crime of violence right then and there? It absolutely does. Under this. And the fact that she used the term that she used also puts you pretty close to that hate crime. Yes. Status. Okay. 1. Intentionally or recklessly terrorizing another person. B. Causing disruption of school activities. C. Causing the evacuation of a building, place of assembly, or facility of public transportation, or other serious public inconvenience. Did she not commit a inconvenience at Walmart? How many people did not go to Walmart because they thought that threat circulating on Facebook would cause a evacuation? It could have been an evacuation done if they determined what Walmart she was at. Number 2, with the intent to retaliate against any person who attends a judicial or administrative proceeding as a witness or party producing record documents or any objective in a judicial proceeding. B. Provides to a law enforcement officer, adult or juvenile probation officer, prosecuting attorney, or judge any information relating to the commission or possible commission of any of an offense under the laws of this state or the United States or a violation of condition of bail, pretrial release, probation, or parole. The crime of making a terrorist threat is a Class C felony. That's what she it's just like Ms. Young just got to saying. If it had became the Class C felony, they would have had to release her name. Well, they released it. She's on. Which in turn would have forced the hand of Shelby State to probably have to expel her from school, and they don't want to do that to her. Okay. But now, if it had been a black student that had done the same thing, would they have gotten the same type of consideration? That black student. that student would have been expelled from or suspended from school pending uh, explosion. Well, the person that did it, she's already on the website. Um, the anytime you want to find out a person's name, all you do is go to the sheriff department website and look up someone that's charged with disorderly conduct, and I think it's white female. It's obvious who it is. It's obvious who it is. Now, between the two charges I just read you, the two charges I just read you, and I'm not going to show it because I don't want us to get shut down. So just in case that is one of those situations, But
I was just gonna say that too, Daryl. The fact that if you show it on one of the platforms that we're broadcasting on right now, we get shut down, even though it is technically the truth, and it's something that we didn't. We're not advertising it. We're just showing what was said to inform the people, but. We get shut down. Like Lisa, you said that the NAACP's Facebook page is shut down right now, right?
I think she dropped. I heard somebody say hello earlier. I don't know if it was.
She said hello, but I could hear her. I don't know. I guess she couldn't hear. She's still on the line, so.
Okay. Maybe she got us on hold for a second, but once again, reading Alabama.
I think she said that the NAACP, the page was shut down or restricted right now solely because she showed the video that this young lady put up.
Right.
So I totally get the reason that you don't want to show the clip here on the show. What's so angry about that though is if she had not been reported, had not been arrested, it would be circulating around now.
Okay. So let me read some.
That being said, we are kicked off.
Okay. Well, we're not gonna show it. We all that's on here has seen it. Well, Mike, you ain't got kicked off.
We kicked off.
Really?
Yes. Tuscaloosa just becoming the I almost said something, but Tuscaloosa becoming that town, that town.
Wow.
That time. But it shouldn't be just Facebook. I mean, it's Facebook. It shouldn't be. Well, it depends on it's Facebook, but it's also we have.
I'm still showing.
This is being discussed. We have a mayor who knows this is being discussed. Like it's Facebook.
Wait a minute.
But we have ins and outs of Facebook that nobody else does. That's true. Only so other few people do. When it comes to law enforcement or matters of the law.
Mike, I'm still showing we on. Veronica, check yours.
Okay.
And I hadn't received anything saying this conversation been muted or anything. Anyone else that's watching the program or listening, if you can make a phone call in just to see if we've been shut down because we're discussing this. Wow.
We're on. I saw it shows that we're on. Okay. Right. My stuff is reading that we're off, and then I'm off the screen right now.
I seen you kicked off the screen.
I see Daryl, and I see the ticker still going. It's 24 minutes and 20 seconds. Jesse says, I can hear you.
Okay, so Mike, you was kicked off the screen, but I can't figure out why.
Look, because Jesse just said, I can hear you. He typed in the comments. And the ticker is continuing to go. It's 24:36, 24:37. 12 people watching.
Okay, that's what I can.
I'm back. I'm sorry. It might just be something over here. Let me.
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, we still on. We still on. I think that's on your end this time, Mike. I'm finna say I know we ain't got kicked off. It's just Let me read some of the comments right quick. Amari Jackson, hey Amari, you can call us, and let's talk about it. Got a caller coming in. Hold on one second. Um, okay. Mara Jackson she said it should definitely have been a terrorist threat. It could have been another situation like the store shooting in New York if it were not recorded. They did her the way they did Kyle Rittenhouse. Okay. Um, that's everybody else is saying this is a threat. Once again, they gave her the Kyle Rittenhouse slap on the wrist. Okay.
Who are they to determine what her intent was? She spoke what her intent was. She spoke what she could do or should do or what she wanted to do. So who are they to say how minimal or how maximum her that was because it was a threat?
Yes.
That's because did nobody come at her, so it wasn't like she was provoked. Exactly. Well, the fact that they thought that it was disorderly conduct. It seemed like they charged her with something that she could turn around and have dropped.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes. That's matter of fact.
Because it doesn't fit the element of he didn't want to charge her anyway.
If you go ahead and pay a lawyer, you can get that removed and get gone because that's expungement right there. Right? The element of the crime does not meet. No, it's just totally dismissed because you can say, "Hey, I want to hear, I want to try in court," and if she's found not guilty, it ain't never happened. And I'm totally disappointed. She's out in the healthcare field. I'm disappointed. She's gonna get past that anyway. I'm disappointed in that charge of disorderly conduct, y'all. I am not sold on that.
But this is so typical of elected officials like our district attorney. Now there was an incident where a member of my family, somebody said that she had been raped, and they were all at our house, all at the school, threatening everything. But this here, where you have absolutely, you have proof. I mean, it's actually recorded. Why not charge her with making a threat? If I were to say I'm going to shoot, let's say I said something like I'm going to the synagogue, to the Jewish church, and I'm gonna do something up in there. Please.
You'll have to be surrounded.
And what did they say when the young man shot up the school? Why didn't they say something? He told somebody something. This girl just told the whole world. This girl in Tuscaloosa, Alabama just told the whole world. And y'all say something, see something, say something, hear something, say something. Why didn't they? When they heard it, they were told, why didn't they say something? They criticized whoever that was that boy talked to that was in California that he talked to. Well, why didn't they call someone? Why, we're sounding the alarm. Because she put it out there because she knew that her appearance would give her nothing to a slap on the wrist. And look who her intended, look who she targeted with her threat.
A person committed the crime.
Tells you everything that you need to know about what your district attorney thinks of you. While you sit around and chuckle with him. And I'm sorry, I called you. I'm gonna cook. So we got some folks in this town that'll shuck and jive and a kiki and he. They'll cuss us out, dog us out to our back, to our face, to our side, whatever. These folks blatantly allow racism, allow things that you supposed to overlook it. That's right. And they sit there and turn their head to the left, to the right, whichever direction it takes for them to act like. But it's not them. It's us that sit up there and do that. That's what I'm talking about. They'll sit up there. It's us, our district attorney, right now, tomorrow. They'll sit up there and chuckle in his face. They'll get on here and it shows, and then we'll be the bad guy for what this racist girl did. Because when we decide to call our officials out on the way they're handling it, well, you can't do that to my son, boy. He won't interview me no more. He won't let me talk to him no more. Oh, he a good old boy. He pat me on the back. He pat me on the back when we went down there to council meeting. He's scared and friends shutting jiving with me when we sit up here at the whatever, whatever, whatever. Oh, it's not that. Y'all just have a chip on your shoulder. But this girl just called herself because she wanted like an NIGGA. So what I would like for the I would like for everybody. And it shouldn't be just black people that are offended. You know, white people should be offended, Asian people should be offended, um, um, the Jewish, the Irish, everybody should be offended that she would sit up and she would single out one group of people. And listen, that's why I'm like livid right now because there are some white people in our community who are offended, who are willing to stand up and speak out, and they will be labeled and stereotyped as the old-fashioned saying goes, in love. But they won't call them that today. They'll call them minions. They'll call them followers. They'll call them. Wait a minute. What did they say in the email? What they call us in the email? Call us minions. But they went around and kiss this city council's tail like he love us. He don't love us. Us of us don't love us. They ignore and they turn their head. And then when we start talking about men start getting mad, they want to come bring heat back to us like, y'all don't understand. It got to work this way, that way. Fair equality works one way. Fairness and equality works one way. You call it to the table, you pull the rug, and you stand on it. You don't pat on the back and good old boy, good old this and good old that. It's just like when this couple said, she wanted black power. One city council person said something, but more should have been said, and it should have been said by all of them, not just the black ones, but the white ones on their council. But they did not care because it didn't affect them. They didn't inflict the harm on us. It's just like it's back in the 1800s. But they're doing it a different way. It's the same way that it's always been when it was discrimination against us against car loans. All this kind of stuff, systemic racism, judicial system, legal wise, all these things. And they're doing it in our face, and our people help them do it. And then they sit there and will argue with us, y'all. They will argue with us and say we're the troublemakers. And then when we do have white friends, they label them as troublemakers. But when the Asian people were getting talked at, taunted, Congress came up with these laws to protect them. And everybody thought that's what was happening. And they asked for our help. But they don't. Exactly. And they asked, and they would want us to help them. They need you when they need your numbers. They want you to help. But when we need their numbers, they're nowhere to be seen. It's a select few. It's a select few group of friends that we have, and it's still not enough speaking out. And it pisses you off. That's not what happened today. It was the wrong charge, and we know why he gave him the minimum charge he could because he didn't want to do it in the first place. He didn't want. Oh, he did. He didn't charge. The attorney didn't charge her with anything. He was. He didn't do it. And if anybody on here want to run and go tell him, Lisa said, yeah, I did say it, but you can trust and believe I will be contacting his office to discuss it with him. So you don't have to say what Lisa said. Lisa gonna tell him what she said. And one of us really wants to run back and tell him. No, not that you know, I already know that. Not that it matters.
Let me read. Let me read another.
It's so angry.
It might be an updated version, which there again, under the same code, a person committed the crime of making a terrorist threat when he or she credibly, based on an objective evaluation, threatens to commit a crime of violence against a person or to damage any property by use of a bomb, explosive weapon of mass destruction, firearm, deadly weapon, or other mechanism, and any other following. The threat causes firearm. The threat the threat causes the evacuation of any real property as defined under this section. The threat causes the disruption of school, church, or governmental activity. The threat is with intent to retaliate against the victim because of his or her involvement or participation as any of the following: a witness or party in any judicial administrative proceeding, a person who produced records, documents, or other objections in a judicial or administrative proceeding. C, a person who provides to a law enforcement officer, adult or juvenile probation officer, prosecuting attorney, judge, any information retaliating. Subsection B, as used in this section, the following terms should have the following meaning: property, personal or real property. Terms include, but is not limited to, any of the following buildings or real property: a church, mosque, synagogue, or other religious real property, a public or private school. Threaten. A person threaten another if all other following occur. The person intentionally, knowingly makes a statement verbally in writing by means of an electronic communication device or by any other means to harm a person or property. The statement is communicated to another person. Under the circumstances, the threatened harm is a credible and imminent. This statement on its face and under the circumstances which it made is so unequivocal, immediate, and specific as to convey to the person threatened a gravity of purpose and an immediate prospect of execution of the threat. This statement causes the person to reasonably be in sustained fear for his or her own safety or for the object of the threat. Weapons of mass destruction. Any of the following: a destructive device is defined in that section. A weapon that is designed to intend to cause death or serious bodily injury through the release. A weapon that is designed to release radiation activity at a level. The crime of making a terrorist threat is a Class C felony. There again. Now this is just another reading. This is through fine law of the Alabama Code. Threatens to commit a crime of violence against a person or to damage any property to use of a bomb, threat, massive destruction, firearm, deadly weapon, or other mechanism. Terrorist threat is, I think, is the charge that should have been made in this. That would be the great debate of this conversation if you read it for yourself. When it first gives you the description, a person commits the crime of making a terrorist threat when he or she threatens by any means, to commit a crime of violence. And by her showing that weapon, she's showing you that she has the potential to carry out this threat against African American people, which she said N word, MF N word. And it was in, what was it in Walmart? What was it in Walmart?
It makes no sense to me that it's clear as day to everybody that's on this panel and probably everybody who's checking us out right now tonight, the charge that should have been issued, as well as, like I said, that's pretty much coming close to a hate crime because it's singling out a minority. So
Just let me look that up, Mike. You bring that. I forgot to bring that point up. Hate crime. You're right.
Why she ain't say I'm gonna kill me somebody?
Hate crime.
Then it says hard to prove it's a hate crime. Why is it so hard to prove it's a hate crime when a specific group of individuals are targeted due to the color of their skin? What's so hard to prove about that? That's what they always say, even with the federal government. Do they not, Lisa? That hate crimes are hard to prove. How the hell is a hate crime hard to prove?
Now that you called out the minority that you talking about.
Right. They say it when they have injured people, when they have harmed people. It was a case recently where they said it was going to be hard to prove it was a hate crime. With Kyle and them, they were talking about that would be hard to prove it was a hate crime. They had at one point said it would be hard to prove that Chauvin was a hate crime. First of all, he was an officer, you know that, but that was like anyway. We got great officers, but you know we have some bad and everything. So they was talking about that was going to be an issue as far as a hate crime. But because the blackness of us putting his foot neck on me on that man's neck, it wasn't. The young man in Georgia, Arbery, they were saying that that would be hard initially to prove. And everybody was so happy that people finally start to step up. They have for years said that hate crimes are hard to prove. How? And it has been cases where they specifically target black people, but if it's another group of people, they aren't so hard to prove.
It wasn't hard to prove when it was the Asians.
Exactly.
And I think you only had 2 incidents of violence.
Congress moved. They have said for years, whenever these issues come up, they say, "Oh, hate crimes are hard, so very hard to prove when it comes to the federal charge." Why? Why? Is that the saying that came about because they never do it or they hardly do it? But that is what they say. It takes a lot to prove it was a hate crime. How does it take a lot when a person targeted a specific race of people? That's
Well,
why I tell these young people, don't use that N word so loosely. They work games on us and we allow it to be worked on us. Don't use that N word so loosely. You allow it to be applied to everybody. It's just like reparations. Everybody got a black family member. You allow it to be applied to everybody. How's it a hate crime? It's something that simple. People probably think, oh no. Think about it. They're using that N word so loosely, allowing other young people to use it. And when we say, oh, they're young, they this, it's all a seed. It plants a seed. Everybody around here calling everybody the N word. How do you prove it's a hate crime? When they're already saying that they're hard to prove.
well, based on this, what is a hate crime? Hate crime at the federal level, a crime motivated by bias against race, color, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability. As of that, I mean, she obviously made it clear that African Americans did, how should I say, MFers?
MF, Igor.
So that was obvious.
So
It identified a race.
absolutely.
But what has the younger generation been running around here doing?
Right?
Dapping, high fiving. What's up, man? With people who look completely different from them, calling each other the N word, setting the seeds to these songs that, just like when they say the technical definition, anybody can be whatever, it's just a crime of ignorance. But they take those things and they use those things against you when they should be used to show that there's been discrimination. They take them to use it there to say that there's no discrimination. Everybody around here running around calling each other the N word now. And she now a good attorney might could give her off because of something that simple. A great attorney will give her off. Probably. I won't say definitely because I don't know. But we sit here and we let these things just start to happen and start to seeds start to build and grow. And we think, oh, ain't nobody, they know, we know she was talking about black folk when she said that, but how do we know? And even though we know, what is the justice system going to say? Well, kids are calling each other that every day. Look at her age. Look at the times we're in. What generation is she? Lawyers get into stuff and use stuff like that.
Yes.
Right before COVID, we were talking about racial disparities in healthcare. Mm-hmm. Um, this right here screams racism in healthcare. Do you think that when this woman would have graduated and became a nurse, do you think she would go into a hospital room or a doctor office and deal with a patient of color the same way she would a white patient?
That gotta be a
She
question.
wouldn't.
That gotta be a question to ask right
She
there.
wouldn't. I would like to know what happened with those young ladies that was in the nursery. Remember the ladies that was in the nursery holding little black babies up? Mm-hmm. Whatever happened to them? I bet you they're nurses now. But we wouldn't have been nurses holding up their babies. It's just, I don't know, to me, I'm just so, I don't even know why I get so upset when it happens. Because it happens over and over and over and over and over again. I looked it up. Do y'all know how many? Do y'all know that in the U.S., in the United States, within the last 30 days, there's been over 50 mass shootings? That means shootings involving 3 or more victims. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Over 50 in the last 30 days.
It just got to the point where they don't tell you about all of them.
But here's the thing. How many of those mass shooters do you think could have been avoided had somebody said something? Because you know somebody knew somebody had a gun. But that's when we say they criticize the people who didn't say something with the Uvalde shooter. People are now saying something, trying to put a stop to, because you know where her head is. People are saying something, and we got officials around here who did not charge her.
The thing is, and every last one, I think it's one of the reasons why they don't want to report all of mass shootings is because when they start doing the investigation, there's always some sort of manifesto. There's always some sort of red flag that was out there, and they're like, well, why didn't you catch it then?
Somebody dropped the ball. You absolutely. Somebody dropped the ball. Somebody dropped the ball for our elected district attorney, the person that's supposed to be protecting everybody in Tuscaloosa County, to say that this right here, this person should not be charged, is a slap in the face to every African American in Tuscaloosa. And I'm talking to those that sit up and he and ha ha in his face. Mm-hmm.
And he's one of the district attorneys that say any crimes with a gun is he's going to mandate that they be put in
Didn't
prison.
he sit up? Didn't he sit up there? Didn't he sit up there? Didn't he bring himself to the city council meeting and even sit up there and talk about the gun violence?
Yes.
So it's only gun violence that needs to be punishable when they look like me.
I'm telling you, I'm livid.
Yeah, I'm trying not to cuss.
I'm trying not to say something. I'm trying not to, because we have people in official positions who can tackle this along with the citizens. Because as we see, they don't listen to the citizens, but we still can't stop talking. But we have people in positions who can bring this to the forefront. We have people in positions who can make this a national situation.
Our mayor should be saying something. Our city council people should be saying something. Our county commissioners should be saying something. Our community leaders, everybody's mouth should be wide open. Everybody should be saying the same thing. Everybody should be singing the same song.
We got Jesse Curtis on the phone with us. Jesse, you still there? Okay, he might have put us on mute for a second or hung up. I'm not sure. I thought I had him on. You're absolutely right. This is just a prime example.
Look at her. She's a typical person that gets away with whatever they want to get away with.
Oh,
So,
don't worry. In the morning she'll be a victim. Mm-hmm. She'll have the police at her house protecting her because she received a threat. But you know what? I'm getting threats too. Damn it. If she gonna get police protection, I need some too. I get a threat, I just go up front and unlock the door and tell them come on.
we're talking about right now the young lady that made the racist threat, and it's all over the news. You can read it on WTUG News. You can read it on what else? What they call it? What Jason? What Jason? I forgot the name of the little thing. But anyway, it came back. It came. No, the little.
So you saying where it can be seen at?
Yeah, the little newspaper article that come through your phone line sometimes.
Oh,
let's be honest. Every pastor in Tuscaloosa should be upset.
That's a good. That's a good point, Lisa. I feel like this situation just happened. Now, if the race of that person had been different, i.e., if it had been a black person, it did that. At that Walmart today, you probably would have seen the mayor there in front of some news cameras. You would have saw city council people there, people that not even in the district, talking about it, and well, we reached out to a couple of it would have been all of that, but I haven't seen any city council people. I haven't seen anybody from the mayor's office. You haven't seen any pastors, anybody else.
They feel like that's not their
showing that outrage in this situation today.
WBR.
Not their job description. Law enforcement not our job description.
But now everybody released a statement, and I can go back and pull their Facebook pages up. When we did that, I stand against Asian hate. Everybody had it on their page. Um, I think there were statements released.
WBRC said
And I remember somebody asked me, was I going to release a statement? I told them, hell no. No. Why? Why would I release a statement when every day I watch, I hear black people being killed? You know, all hate. You should stand against all hate. It shouldn't just be when it's a person that's Asian or when it's a white lady or when it's a child or elderly person. It should be, you should stand against hate when it's anybody. But we can't get afforded the same courtesy. I don't understand. Well, I do understand it, but I don't understand how in 2022 is allowed to persist.
Well, Lisa, they got an article
But what I do know is the people responsible for it, they look like me.
Lisa, let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you for a second. Let me read your statement that WBRC posted. Tuscaloosa police arrest woman for making racist threat online. 19 minutes ago. Police make an arrest after a student from a West Alabama community college is accused of threatening to shoot black people. The threat was made in a video. Tuscaloosa police confirmed charging someone within hours of being notified. A Tuscaloosa police spokeswoman tells me they were notified by the public and administrators at Shelton State Community College on June 23rd. Soon afterward, a student was booked into the Tuscaloosa County Jail. Authorities say 20-year-old Sydney Angela Holder was charged with disorderly conduct in a relation to a statement made on social media Wednesday. Officers say they interviewed Holder at police headquarters and later charged her. Lisa Young, president of the Tuscaloosa County NAACP branch, says concern by students who shared a class with Holder came forward. In the video, Holder is accused of using a racial slur, threatening to shoot black people, and shows a gun. Young says she contacted administrators at Shelton State and the police as soon as she was notified. We live in a country where in the past 30 days, we had over 50 incidents of gun violence or mass shootings, and people are walking around terrorized. They feel terrorized, so I actually consider it a domestic terrorist threat, said Young. We reached out to Shelton State Community College for a comment. We have not heard back yet. Good for you. Good for you.
I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of it. You know, it's like I look at my grandkids and I'm like, golly, you know, I know what kind of world I grew up in. It's worse for them.
You know,
we knew who our races were.
The shooting that took place at the
Just
church.
like I say, we became complacent. Our generation, our race became complacent. When it was like, okay, you can go here without worrying about this, you go there without worrying about this. We stopped fighting for the greater.
But when we speak up, what are we, Veronica? When we speak up, what are we? Minions, antagonists. We minions. Personal account. Hold on, them official emails, right? Okay. How unprofessional to put that in an email? In an official email. How unprofessional?
By somebody around here worshiping. And this ain't the first time he did something, and they still let him slide, worshiping. And he has the nerve to get mad when called out.
Oh, you know, I don't really care nothing about nobody getting mad and shit.
Not at
I
all.
get mad all the time. I'm mad now.
Okay.
I'm mad right now. And it's like, how many times you gotta get mad? When can we get some justice? When can we get true equality? When is my life seen just as valuable, or my reputation, or my property, my body seen just as equal?
Right, Lisa, right. All this stuff takes me out of that. It takes me out all the stuff that's going on lately. And we get kind of that slide. It takes me back to the young man over there at the school that was over there ranting and saying stuff. Some of those young people, somebody knew it wasn't right. That's why they recorded. But it was us arguing amongst each other on what type of punishment we should have gotten. When we know what type of punishment we would have gotten. I think fair equality across the board. Those kids have seeds planted in them. And I don't care how well he grew up with somebody, how well he knew somebody. Don't you know that young boy was 18 years old, he probably knew black kids that were over there and shot those little Hispanic kids? He probably knew Hispanic kids. And we love to go over here and dap it up and high five and say, oh, he cool, he cool, he cool. Everybody cool till they ain't cool no more.
And let me tell you how this makes me look like a hypocrite in my capacity. I get phone calls all the time from mothers who young sons are in jail on gun charges, right?
Mm-hmm.
They ain't did anything, but you know, they were caught without a gun right after an incident. And so they lock them up. I'm telling them, well, the city, we taking a get tough on crime position. So walking around with a gun or threatening somebody with a gun is gonna land you in jail. They're gonna be charged. She was charged with a misdemeanor. We got juveniles that can't even get out. So, and I'm sick of the gun violence just like everybody else. So I don't need nobody to call me and tell me, but this, that, and the third. I get it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But is it right when other people flash guns and make threats and they get a misdemeanor and they get to bail out, but you got kids that been locked up for over a month?
Mm-hmm. See, that's why I say it takes me all the way back to all that little stuff that's been going on. They're going to get preferential treatment. And so we have to stop when it's them.
Because
we
and was it not our district attorney that wanted all this get tough on crime when it came to gun violence? When all of our politicians, sheriff, everybody around here lived it because of the constitutional carry?
Can we also put in perspective that what if somebody had saw her say that and they had a gun and it was a confrontation?
What if
they
they
didn't even have a gun and they confronted her? She's already happy.
But I'm saying, I mean,
what if they didn't even have a gun? They just said,
but I'm saying in this scenario, if somebody walked up to her, what did you say? And oh, I got mine too. And then she goes to the police and say, hey, he got a gun, and he just said he got a gun too.
Mm-hmm.
What would have happened?
Oh,
They would have put that person would have got a misdemeanor, I don't think.
no, they would have got a misdemeanor.
Mm. And that's the person said, who are they going to believe?
Mm.
But remember, when you go, I say it all the time. Y'all keep putting these people in office. They won't. You got black people that won't speak up. You got clear racists, clear. I mean, I don't know how many times a person has to exhibit racist behavior before you label them a racist. That we, and when I say we, I'm talking about African Americans, keep putting back in office. They will not make a statement when it comes to African Americans. They sit there and they be quiet, they pretend like they didn't know, and they keep their mouth closed because all the thing they're concerned about is being reelected. But you get nothing out of it. You get nothing from them.
So was the location of this Snapchat video? Was it inside of Walmart or was it at
She was
Chelsea?
inside Walmart.
Inside.
And see, I get it, Mike. You're right. If somebody, let's say, I'm gonna use me for an example. If I would have overheard her, there would have been a confrontation in Walmart. I would have asked her, "What did you just say?" I would have asked her, "What did you just say? Please repeat." I would have asked her, "Who you calling nigga?" What you think she would have did? She would have feared for her life and did what?
Well, here's the thing. When and I don't know who said it earlier. They said it was a joke. How can you take this as a joke? Way society is today, this cannot be taken as a joke or someone just doing some on Snapchat or TikTok or whatever it is.
My thing is they act like they don't lie. How do you know it was a joke? Are you in that woman said it's a joke because she said it was a joke. If you about to get arrested, ain't you gonna say it's a joke if you get caught stealing candy? Oh, it was a joke. It was a prank. You still go to
Oh,
jail.
I just
She said it's a joke.
let's take for example.
Can I also say that in this particular moment in time, there are a whole lot of different things that you can't say as a joke. Like you can't make fun of somebody who's homosexual anymore. Like you can't go out there and call somebody. I ain't gonna say it, but you can't call them something.
Let me give you a prime example, Mike. What's the difference in a police car that's left running, and a person goes inside the vehicle and just say he pulls up, not drive off, and the police come out and say, you're under arrest. Oh, this was just a joke because you left your car running. Now where you at? Did he not just make an attempt to steal a car or appear to be making a threat to steal a car? A police car at that? He committed theft of property or unauthorized use of a motor vehicle because him and his friend walked outside, seen a car that was running. He gets in it. The friend recorded, and okay, do you make an arrest or do you just say, "Oh, this just disorderly conduct"?
If he asking that this return we got, this disorderly conduct.
Now, I'm not sure.
If he white,
this attorney didn't charge him with anything now.
Well, my question is, at what point? I don't know. Now, where do we get the fact that the district attorney didn't want the charge?
Lisa? I heard it through the grapevine.
Okay.
He didn't. He wasn't the one who did it, was it?
No, where the police department should have made the initial investigation and the charge. I mean, normally I ain't never seen no. I've never seen where they had to ask the district attorney because if the crime fits the crime, they make the arrest and go from there. Mm-hmm. So I can imagine. Now you got to understand you got deputy district attorneys also. So I'm just going to say this part of it: the charge don't fit the crime at this point. In my opinion, she should have been charged with terrorist threat. And if you wanted to deliberate on another lesser charge, then that should have been up to the grand jury at that point. But I don't think disorderly conduct is going to be. I mean, come on, y'all. We just went over.
There ain't no disorderly conduct.
I think we got 15 people on here right now, probably more. So let's listen to disorderly conduct, and y'all, please, you don't really have to identify, but let's just say how many people think this charge that this young lady just got fit this particular crime, disorderly conduct. And that's Alabama Code 13A-11-7. A person commit the crime of disorderly conduct if, with intent to cause public inconvenience, annoyance or alarm, or reckless creating a risk thereof, he or she does any of the following: engage in fight, she ain't doing that. Makes a reasonable noise, she ain't do that. In a public place, use abusive or obscene language or makes an obscene gesture, somewhat, without lawful authority, disturb any lawful assembly or meeting of a person, she didn't do that. Obstruct vehicular or pedestrian traffic or transportation facilities, she didn't do that. And congregate with other persons in public place and refuse to comply with the lawful order, she didn't do that. So, only thing that she fit the criteria on that particular thing, in a public place, uses abusive or obscene language or make an obscene gesture. The obscene gesture will say what, showing the gun? But that's right now open carry. I mean,
But she brandishing. She. I mean, is that not brandishing? You don't have to just wave it in the air, do you? You lifting it up. Well, she could have been that threatening. That's threatening to anybody. I see somebody
I
look up
think
their
because
pants.
it was still in the holster, that's really how she can get away with it, I think.
yeah.
I mean, but when you show a gun to intimidate, it's just like you can't. From the last I thought, you can't even walk around if you do have it concealed. You can't walk around and then you look at somebody or somebody say something to you the wrong way. Then you pull the gun back. I mean, you pull your jacket back and show it to them. Just imagine everybody walking around doing that. Last I checked, I didn't think you were supposed to do that. I thought that was a form of branding.
So now let's
Everybody
read.
who has a concealed weapon, they can just walk around and get anybody get ticked off with, or they just want to taunt. Just pull that jacket back, lift that pants leg up. What is that? Is that not against the law? Something? Is that not some form of brandishing?
Well, they call it in that particular situation. You have me thinking now. They're gonna come to
Because I
me.
don't think we can just walk around and do that.
They call it menacing. If
Right.
at that particular time. So let's look
I
at,
don't know what that crime is. I mean, like what level of it is, but that's a crime.
is it misdemeanor? But let's look at terrorist threat. I think this is the law that fits best for that particular. Commit the crime of making a terrorist threat when he or she credibly, based on objective evaluation, threatens to commit a crime of violence against a person. That could have been any African American because she said the N word. MFers, N word. In Walmart. In Walmart.
The thing about it
If
is, once
someone
again,
and
with
then
the amount of mass shootings that we've been having,
not on
and
top of
seriously,
that, what?
the one that we just had that was as close as Vestavia Hills last week,
Yes,
7 days tonight.
yes. And I was just finna say, what if someone would have notified the management of a young lady with a gun in Walmart threatening to shoot black people? Do you not think somebody would have pushed the panic button and caused the evacuation? Yes, she would. They would have. Because she had a weapon that was vanished that she could show that she was going to shoot black peoples in Walmart. That's no different in the situation other than the fact that the guy in Buffalo carried it out.
Mm-hmm.
The crime is
No different because she said it verbally and he wrote it down in the manifesto.
She was videotaped.
And she was videotaped, so that's a video journal if you want to call it that.
let's read. Coleman County student charged with terrorist threat. A Coleman County student was arrested over threats to other students, according to Coleman County Sheriff Office. Deputies arrested Carmel Anthony Messana, 18, of Brenton, of Cold Spring High School. Deputies said the arrest stemmed from a threat made by Messina on December 2021, directed toward other students. He was arrested and taken in Coleman County Detention Center. He was charged with terrorist threat. Now that's an old case. I'm curious of what was the outcome of it. as you said, this is a if this charge is good for anyone that's in school, it still is good enough for this on the outskirts because this happened at a public place.
And can we be honest? Who's walking around? How many folks you know walking around Walmart? How many black folks is in Walmart at any given time?
Hundreds, hundreds, hundreds.
So how do we know once again that she wasn't finna go out there and unload her little clip and so I don't know what kind of gun it was. But how do we know she wasn't finna plan on going to unload her clip?
It was possible.
In a bunch of people up in Walmart.
It was possible, Mike. It was possible.
So there's some of that stuff where they say, well, we can't do anything until they do something to you. And then when they do something, it's very, very. What happened in Buffalo? What happened in Texas? What happened in Vestavia Hill? You know that like I'm okay that in Vestavia Hill, to my knowledge, right now they're saying I don't know of any red flags with this particular person, but the other two that I just named, there were red flags that came up, and we can't do nothing until they do something to somebody. Well, when they finally did something to somebody, guess what happened? A bunch of people died.
Come on, y'all. Come on, yeah.
Y'all
Y'all
know what this makes me think about? Think about that woman, that young woman that's trying to get away from an abusive mate, or man trying to get away from an abusive mate. And they tell you to document. They don't. Some families are left feeling like, did y'all not listen? Y'all said document. She has documented this. So it's like there's documentation of what's being done. You say something. Okay, somebody knew something with that young man, they didn't say anything. But an officer knew about the one in New York. He didn't say anything. Today, somebody knew about this young lady, and they said something. Think about that woman who has been saying something. It makes me think about that way. You tell people to speak up. You tell people to say what they see, so they hear. And then, what's the outcome? What do? They told the proper authority. They told the proper authority, and they slap on the wrist. Our office didn't even. They said allegedly didn't want to do anything. The police did what they did, but we still, what is our DA going to do? So I'm curious.
I will say this. The moment I notified the police, they jumped right on it. I will say that. Nobody mentioned the race of her or anything. They jumped right on it.
Mm. It has to be fair and equal.
That's the only way it really works.
Right. It has to be fair and equal. Like I said, at least it's been 50? The week after you bought it was like 25, 26. So you saying to say something, and then when people get discouraged when they say something to do something and nothing's done, or the bare minimum is done when there should have been more.
But people need to be mindful when these folks sitting on people's panels, or when they show up at meetings and they sitting there pretending like they so disgusted with everything that's going on. They're so tired of all the gun violence. You remember they tired of certain gun violence. Because if they were gonna take everything seriously, this should have been something that was taken seriously. Tuscaloosa could have easily. Nobody knows her mindset. Nobody knows her intent. So you can't say what she was or what she wasn't going to do.
Or that it was a joke.
or if it was a joke. But had she been encountered by, we don't say the right person, had she been encountered by the right person and asked, what did you say? What you think she would have grabbed?
Okay.
She would have grabbed her gun. We would have had a shooting in Walmart. Then they would have been looking for a reason to justify her shooting.
And what if the other person had a gun? Like Mike said, what's the other?
What if the other
person?
person
Got even more people in danger. Even more people in danger.
Remember, I said she was 20 years old. 20. She wasn't carrying a rifle. She was carrying a firearm.
And remember,
talk about all the
changed age. When they changed the age.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
What do they think? Changing it. Why would you make it 18? A young this society is so upset with firearms.
Now, she claimed that it wasn't even a real gun.
You know, okay, if you go and rob a store with a fake gun, it's still considered armed robbery.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an incident like that where we had a young man that robbed the Alabama Credit Union up there by the hospital with a fake gun, and they prosecuted him.
Yeah, if you go in there with your hand in your pocket, with it pointed as if it's a gun, last I checked, they're gonna prosecute you as armed robbers. Cause who are they to say you go in there with your hand in your pocket, saying you have a gun?
Well, y'all just remember that when it come down to election and folks smiling, they there all the little black events. Smiling in your face how they want to vote. I can only imagine what some of them conversations look like when they're not in your presence.
Well, we see what the cousin emails look like.
Now, imagine her being a young black male. What would she have been charged with?
Wasn't a young black male shot and killed in Walmart for just looking at a gun that was?
He had a toy gun.
Right.
That's a good question, Lisa. That's a good controversial question. What have been the charge if she would have been a African American young lady? A 20-year-old nursing student that was African American. With her charged with a terrorist threat.
She would have got a felony charge so she can get kicked out of the nursing program.
Was she either got the terrorist threat or disorderly conduct?
She would have got the terrorist threat. I don't bet, and I'm almost certain that's what she would have gotten.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, whatever felony charge they could put on her, she would have gotten. So, and the domino effect would have started from there. She would have got kicked completely out of school. Out of that nursing program.
And then they would have had other law enforcement levels looking at it. They would have looked at it from the federal level. Because imagine her saying, I'm going to go in here and shoot me up some papers. There you go.
Lisa, I really think this particular situation probably have to be reported to the FBI just to at least get, because it is making headlines now. I see it uncovered a couple more news broadcasts, so it's possible that the feds could look more into this as a
I think it has been elevated there.
Okay. That's what I think. I think now that the way that the headlines are beginning to read racist threat or that now the district attorney is going to have to say, or whoever made that decision, or whoever said they didn't want to make this a felony, might have to reconsider and upgrade the charge or send it to the grand jury to be presented as a felony case.
Okay, that's another joke in Tuscaloosa. I've been in Tuscaloosa all my life.
Okay.
Educated right here. Never have I been called for jury duty. I know people they get called for jury duty. It seems like every month. They called I had to argue with them why she was 96 at the time, why my 96-year-old grandma couldn't come. I said, because I'm not coming. Well, I mean, like, what you think? She just gonna walk up in there?
Wait a minute, you mean to tell me they wanted your 96-year-old grandmother?
They wanted my 96-year-old grandmother to come to jury duty.
But here it is.
I thought that was an age. I thought after a certain age
They wanted my 96-year-old grandmother to come to jury duty and argue with me about why she can't come. Well, I'm gonna need a doctor. I'm not gonna go take her to the doctor and pay a copay to tell you she can't come. She's 96.
And here it is, you a 36-year-old African American woman ain't never been called to come.
Never. Lifelong. I'm a lifelong resident in Tuscaloosa.
I came here, and I'm 46, and I've never been on the jury myself.
Now, at least you heard what I said. Now I was nice. Now
I heard what you said there.
Okay.
Look, I was like, well, hell, it's good. You think I'm that young, but all right, but the mere fact that how they rotate, how are certain people being called 2 and 3 times, and you got people that have never been called?
That's a good question.
See, because criminal justice is my background. I have a bachelor's and a master's. I would tell anybody, if you ask me what's the biggest fallacy in the criminal justice system, it's a jury of your peers. To be judged by a jury of your peers, how when you got people that have never served on the jury? You got people that are called to a jury. I know people that are called on the jury, it seems like 2-3 times a year. I got jury duty again. I got jury duty. It's the biggest joke in the criminal justice system, a jury of your peers. The fact that a jury is unbiased, the jury selection is unbiased, is a lie. That's a lie. They pick people like my grandmother because she's one of those people that say, well, the police arrested them. And you're like, Mama, what the hell that's supposed to mean? Well, the police, you gotta trust your police. Oh, okay then. But me, I would ask questions. I would ask to look at the chain of evidence. I would ask to look at witness statements. I look at the time a witness statement was taken.
You're not supposed to
I
be
know
that smart,
about
Lisa.
I know about eyewitness testimony and recall and them saying, yeah, that was the person. I know all about all this. But you got people that serve on jury duties that like, I beg people when they say they got jury duty to please stay on jury duty. Please stay on jury duty. If I was on trial, I would want to look out there and look at somebody that looked like me. You also need somebody with a strong enough voice that ain't concerned with being liked by everybody else in the room, and you do what you do, what you supposed to be doing. Mm.
Well, on this particular case, I don't know if there's, I think the district attorney was hoping that we do what we normally do here in Tuscaloosa, and that is, hoop and holler for about a week or two, and then everything blows over.
No, Tuscaloosa needs to be outraged. People that got somebody right now in jail on a gun charge need to be outraged.
But just go on social media. Just go on social media and look where it's being discussed and where it's not. Who's discussing and who's not.
But you know, don't go certain places to see it now. I think
but who's discussing it? It still can be. It's been seen now. It's out here. Just look at who and who is not discussing it. It's all over. Like Barry said, it's spreading. It's gaining traction. More and more people are knowing about it. Everybody in this town, I'm sure, knows about it. Look at who is and who is not discussing it, whether the video is up or not. Look at who's having conversations about it.
So, with that being said, do you think on tomorrow you might start seeing a couple of Walmatics statements, TTown statements?
I tell you one thing, you hold your breath. If you hold your breath, I hope your funeral pre-arranged. You'll drop dead first. And let's not just call out the white ones. What you think the black one's gonna say? Let's see if our councilperson Raven Howard, who's over public safety, have anything to say.
You know, I had to stop saying her name because, you know, they said I was biased toward her. But
you have the right to be biased towards anybody you choose to be. People have the right to be racist, but they don't have the right to act on it.
That's hard, right there. You literally have a right.
You have the right to be racist, but you don't have the right to inflict it on some people.
You don't have a right to discriminate against me based on your perceived biases. Exactly. You don't have a right.
You have the right to hate somebody because of the color of skin. But you don't have the right.
Seriously. If I'm on a dock and you on a dock, that's up. And I fall in the water and I start drowning, you don't really have a legal right to be left alone. You have no obligation to jump in and do anything. You can keep fishing. Now, unless you have if there's certain occupations, if you're an EMS, if you're a rescue diver, maybe if you're in the medical field, you may have some type of responsibility to respond because of an oath that you've taken. Law enforcement. But just the average Joe Blow, they ain't got to react. But when you're an elected official, if you can make a statement about the gun violence and how you're upset by all these people that were so upset. How many people made statements after the Constitution carry passed law? They were livid. They should be livid right now. They should be equally upset. And I actually remember a conversation that I had with somebody in law enforcement where they were like, is the NAACP going to make a statement? I said, nah, we're not, because there seems to be a disparity in who I see charged with concealed weapon charges. Now, I think I know a cross section of people. I'm the type of person that grew up with several guns. I used to ride in my granddaddy's truck, several guns right there in the truck. So, when was the last time, I'm asking y'all, when was the last time y'all seen a white person charged with a concealed weapon charge?
I never saw that.
Okay.
Yep. I've seen them pulled over with the gun in the window and let go.
Or one white friend of mine told me his gun was taken and he could come up there and retrieve it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said, what? Mm-hmm. He told me that was his constitutional right. I said, golly. And that was before the constitutional carry. But when I told the person in law enforcement, the issue that I had was I had not seen, I can't recall the last time I seen a white person arrested for a concealed weapon charge. They got upset with me.
That's exactly what they were going to do.
We don't have, just like they said in the saying she was playing. How do you know she was playing? Just like when they said those your boys forgot and took those guns up there to the high school. How do you know they forgot? Oh, just because they had gone hunting, had it been somebody else, had it been us, we would have been said,
They would have been arrested.
Right, and they were not expelled. I don't know what happened, maybe suspended or something, but they were given, like I said, they got the minimum punishment. But had it been blacks, no matter, he could have been doing hunting you could have hunted all weekend. You can't sue women with the guns, you was gonna be expelled.
You could have went hunting with the police. And the same police would have took your butt to jail.
But, you know, the fact that I said that there was a disparity in the arrest, because I can't recall, and I asked him, help me. When was the last time you arrested somebody white for a concealed weapon charge? You know, don't sit there and get all upset with me because I'm asking this question.
It's a difference.
You're not going to get me all up in arms over it, because I come from a family that everybody owned guns. But we're taught to respect it. We're taught that if you pull a weapon on somebody, it's not a toy. And it's not anything to threaten anyone with. Mm-hmm. When you pull a weapon, your life in danger.
Mm-hmm. So what did they do about the young lady, the student, that was talking about she gonna get a gun and go in Walmart and shoot somebody black?
Well, she was in Walmart.
That's what we talking about. She was in Walmart.
Yeah. She was in Walmart, and I would say, based on that video, they thought it was a joke. But I would say, brandished her weapon, right?
Yes.
And said she gonna shoot her some N-words in Walmart. Mm-hmm. She ain't said I'm gonna shoot up Walmart. She ain't said I'm gonna shoot some women. She ain't said I'm gonna shoot Man, she said, I'm gonna shoot me mm, some N words.
MF and N words.
And she wasn't charged.
She got a misdemeanor. She got
Yeah,
the charge.
yeah, that's
The charge
what we
was
talking about.
the charge she got was
charged.
She was charged with disorderly conduct.
Disorderly conduct?
She was charged with disorderly conduct.
disorderly conduct.
That came about because certain people wanted to make sure she was charged with something.
If you had to win there and said the same thing, you got shot.
I would have went there and said I wouldn't even have a job today.
You got shot.
That's the point that I'm getting to right there is about the fact that she was a nursing student in Shelby State. They gave her the misdemeanor charge, which like we already said, get lawyers come in and get that like scrubbed off. And she's still gonna be in the nursing program. Um, but if that had been, like I said, a black lady who did that, a black male, they would have gotten that domestic terrorist charge. Probably that hate crime charge checked on to it. Then with that felony charge, they would have got kicked out of the nursing program. So you would have blew up their life over it, and it would not have been no big thing coming on whether or not it was a joke or not. It would have been, well,
it wouldn't have been no joke.
They wouldn't even have recommended it as a joke or anything like that. Is, well, you should have known better. She was a 20-year-old college student. So if anybody else should have known better, you think that she should have known better as well, right?
Yep. With the way things have been going, yeah.
Once again, why did you have to say that you gonna shoot at MF Ninja? What provoked you to even get to that point? So if you were unprovoked, that's a whole nother thing right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I forgot, when you're that young, the law gonna always work on your side, and you that color. Always, just like a young man did up in Minnesota, when he didn't even live in Minnesota. He lived in a whole other state, and he traveled across state lines with an AR-15 and killed 2 white men. But he got in court and he started crying. And he cried his way out of the case.
And then went on a talk radio show and talked about joked about how he could make himself cry.
Yeah. Yes. See, they can get away with stuff like that. You and me, we ain't getting away with that. So yeah, that makes sure their peers, as they say, is over zero, which that only means all white. Because when I went to court and went to trial, wasn't nobody in there my color. Everybody on that jury was either 30 or 40 years older than me.
I would have said, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?"
30 to 40 years. I could have been their grandson. everybody on the entire panel. Or great grandson.
You was on jury duty, or you was?
No, I was the defendant.
Okay.
The jury was supposed to be a jury of my peers. No, they were not.
Man, I'm so sick of this. I don't know what to do. I'm just glad I wasn't the person that I'm glad I went in there and overheard. We be having fish fries around here to pay my bill.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing, but that's the truth. Like, yeah, I wonder how many folks was actually around her when she said that. Like, I personally didn't see the video, but cause I can't. But like how many people was around her, and definitely couldn't have been nobody black around her that heard her say that.
She probably didn't care if they heard or not. She probably didn't care.
What they know now.
She didn't care because she knows she gets preferential treatment.
Yep.
But the reason why I say not necessarily that she cared, but I'm saying it would have been some sort of confrontation. Seriously, the right person had heard you say that, and them could have been somebody working up in there. Like, what you say? And next thing you know, it's escalated to the point where there's gunfire in Walmart.
Because she felt threatened at that point.
Yeah. And whether or not, you know what I'm saying, how many folks get hit by a stray bullet?
All this concealed carrying, no matter who. You got two people going back and forth shooting.
However, I'm gonna do my best to elevate it up. Make sure that national news get it, and make sure that our state president get it. But I'm gonna watch our so-called leaders around Tuscaloosa, because here's the problem: had everybody in leadership in Tuscaloosa, and I'm talking about your pastors, I'm talking about your social savings clubs, I'm talking about your administrators in all organizations being equally upset the way they were hosting all this. I stand against Asian violence. Had they been upset about this the same way they were about that, something would have already been done. She would have had so many charges that she would have literally had to take a plea deal. But we don't stand together. If certain people say it, we don't say this before, if certain people say it, then yeah. But we broken as a people.
Yep.
And we're traumatized as a people. There's no way you can be black in America, living this truth every day and not be living it. Hell, you walking around with PTSD. You traumatized. The stuff that we see on a daily, the things that we hear about, they affect us psychologically. But we're so conditioned. We're so conditioned that, but just go ahead on and work through it. Do your work anyway. You gotta be strong. Turn that other cheek. We've been conditioned to be the most sympathetic people.
We've been desensitized to it all.
constantly forgive our accusers, and they don't even have to apologize. Which, by the way, there's nothing that she can say to me. I don't even want an apology. I want you to live your truth. And that's what she truly feels, the cherry on.
You got somebody right now that's like, yo, come on, baby, get a cut of these greens and this fried chicken. We know you was playing. That right there is what makes me
or we know you than me.
Most vivid.
We know you than me.
That makes me the most vivid.
Because she meant every single word of it. She meant every single word.
And it's not something that wasn't something that just popped in her head and she decided this day or a certain day she was going to do. This been in her. That been in her. Regardless if she go get a gun and do it, it's been in her. It was in her in elementary. It was in her in middle school. It was in her. It was in her in the 7th grade, 8th grade. It was in her when she started high school. This ain't nothing new to her.
A nursing student. She will be the one to tell you
always
how you feel.
She'll be the one to tell you you don't need no pain medication. She'll be the one to tell you you're not in distress. She'll be the one to tell you it's all in your head.
Yep. Or it'll subside in a couple of days. You'll be all right.
See, I ain't, I'm tired. I'm tired.
People think that it's an over exaggeration. No, you don't. Who did they experiment on back when?
Exactly. I don't think people realize, I don't think people realize.
Men and women. Tuskegee.
I know, but they experimented for more black women than men.
It doesn't matter. They experimented on black people.
Yeah, they did.
And then to sit there and tell you pain is not objective. You can observe and determine if someone's maybe that they may be in pain, but someone could act like it and they may not be. Someone may be and you would never know. Pain is subjective. But she's the one who will try to tell a person what they feel, how they feel, when they feel, and label them drug seeker and whatever else. And those, there are people that do seek drugs, but pain is still subjective. Look at the woman that in Alabama is notorious for. And look at how they had to look at our people are conditioned to do what they say. Look at how they had the black nurse back then that helped them with the Tuskegee experience.
Oh yeah.
And she even when she was interviewed years and years later, there was no empathy. Because she was getting paid more than a lot of other people were at that time to help destroy her own people. She talked about how she could convince them to do whatever they want that it was that they wanted them to do. And I think of these people that sit around in positions today that don't say a word, that'll sit there and shuck and joke, handshake and pat on the back with these people. But you have more white people in this community. There are some white people who will help us, but the numbers we just don't have. We don't have the numbers, black numbers or white numbers. But it's sad that there are some black who sit there and see it and don't do a thing, don't say a word.
And also no prior to. And also there's a shock to them that they just found out that something is going on. They know prior to. Anything even happened.
Now I'm going to see if it's even on the news. Because most times, even if it's been a shooting, they'll start the news off with something else and then get to the shooting. Right now, they just have Lisa on screen. So and she's on having a portion of the phone call. So at least they started off the newscast with it, seeing if they were up to charge or bring any additional charges. They know they
you on WBTM Veronica?
WVUA.
Okay.
Oh, they've gone already. Within a minute, they've gone to the weather. It's probably being talked about more on Fox or BTM.
I don't want it to be like I said, I don't want it to be one of these things that I feel like this is what the district attorney is hoping. Oh, a couple of weeks they'll be outright for a couple of weeks and then it's gonna fade away. Right, yeah. Just like so many things has been doing here in this city. We gotta stop letting it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they
It's
talk
obvious
about
that
the church now, and but and they don't understand how serious this is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When all the discussion around the constitutional carry and um everybody was talking about how gun violence was this, that, and the third, and how it needs to be taken seriously, this, that, and another. But again, it comes down to who they look like.
Mm-hmm. And that's not, and oh my goodness, if her family has any kind of standing, if her family has any kind of community standing, then that's another thing in her favor.
yeah.
If one good old boy knows another good old boy.
Yeah. You know you're telling the truth when we got a city council person that just sit up like. I ain't gonna say no more because I don't want you to keep talking. But if you got standing in Tuscaloosa, boy, they'll let you get away with anything. And I'm talking about felony stuff.
Well, hey, and it's not just us. We got people who can go up there and say they want to kill representatives on the federal level. Some of them basically getting sentences. Told police officers that they said what they said because they felt like that that color is going to be enough from one good old boy to another. Yeah, I'm telling you, wink, wink. And it's like you just get disgusted, busted, and disgusted because sometimes even when you're saying something, are you saying it to the right authority? That's an issue. Any authority figure should be the right one, but are we saying it to the right authority figure? And it's sad. You have to wonder about that. It's like 2022. You would think race relations, people relations would be on such a different level.
Well, we got too many of our folks trying to assimilate right now. Trying to forgetting forgetting who they are, forgetting what they came from. Uh, don't even want to think about where they came from. Matter of fact, you know, they choose not to know anything about their history because, oh, that was so long ago. Well, given the opportunity, we'll be going right back to it. You can sit back and see that every last politician that ran for something, you saw these commercials. Now one of them politicians cared less about anything that probably pertained to people of color. They they didn't even acknowledge. It was absolutely everything different than anything the majority of the people want in the state. But hey, we don't care what the majority want. We just want the ones that gonna go out there and vote because the majority of y'all ain't gonna go vote. They tell y'all that. They don't even care. And that's all the way governors, senators, all of that. Come on. We got to go out and vote. We got to get these people out the office. All elections. And we got to let our folks here in Tuscaloosa know that we ain't standing for what they got going on anymore. They told us as much when it came down to redistricting the city. And then they furthermore went on when they decided after the majority of the people said they didn't want the Barnes Branch YMCA to be in McDonough Hughes Center parking lot. They said so. We don't care. We're gonna put it there anyway. They constantly telling you.
Got a governor on TV proud of her done, so of course the young lady proud of her.
Of course. Exactly what I'm saying. But there,
Yeah.
hey, it's 10 out of 10, man. What you want to do?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm working on the weekend. I had to get ready for the weekend. I got some stuff coming up. I had to get ready.
I hear you.
I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed in the charge. We'll see. We'll see what do it get upgraded. It just I find it to be disappointing. I think they could have did a better job on the charge because I'm certain that any attorney probably could beat that just about. But we'll see. We'll see. Y'all just be careful this weekend. It's gonna be hot still.
Yes. I want to say happy birthday to my wife. She has a birthday tomorrow. So
Happy birthday, Lady
Okay,
T.
happy birthday.
Yeah.
And Lisa, I know she's sweet,
Yeah.
but great job
Yeah.
from the financial literacy to the program for the youth, the elderly, the parade, um, the luncheon. Juneteenth was a blast this year,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and that was just it was great. It was just great.
I think it. I think it's something to look forward to in the very near future for next year, and she and I already started planning for it. So can't do nothing but go up. Can't do nothing but go up. But okay, y'all. Thank everybody for chiming in. We got a couple guests coming on next week with us. The financial literacy. I wish I could have. I asked Lisa about that. I think it was some information that probably need to be passed on our program. We might can have her on as a guest. Cause Mike.
Yeah, it was really good.
I hear it was really good, and might be something for you, Mike. That house is still knocking on the door.
Hey, I know, man. I wish I could have made it there. I just didn't have the way to get there, but yeah, after me and Lisa been talking about it behind the scenes, so I'm keeping talking, get in touch with her. Oh, girl, we thought you were knocked out. Go on, say something.
She heard Lisa. She heard Lisa. So.
No, I was just sitting there, but I am gonna let y'all go because I'm sleepy as all get out.
We know. We finna go too. Blunzel said she want to help with the parade for next year, so put her on the committee for the parade next year. You heard? Blunzel Jemison said she want to help with the parade for next year, so put her on
Please do.
Yeah. So we'll talk more. We want to bring the people that had the financial literacy. It was something about NACO. I'm not sure who that is.
NACO.
Yeah, we're going to talk.
Yeah, that's what I definitely need to talk to you about.
We'd like to bring them on the show for next week. If you
okay, I'll put you in contact with the lady.
Okay. All right then.
All right.
All right, y'all. We'll do. Y'all take care, and we'll see y'all.
Y'all stay cool.
Yeah, stay cool. For sure.
Hello? Hey, Rick. I had to call you to tell you that the food that you brought to the party last night was wonderful. It made me think about my grandmother's cooking. Where did you get that food, brother? I went down to Thomas' Rib Shack to pick up the ribs, but when I got there, I seen that they had more than just ribs. I seen baked chicken, fried chicken, corn muffins, vegetables, apple pie, peach pie. And I looked around and I seen a sign that told me that they got chitlins and oxtails on Sunday. Oh, all I can tell you, go down to 2931 15th Street or just give them a call like I did at area code 205-759-5010. Thomas Rib Shack, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Get your event jumping with Caroline Shines and Impulse Band. Impulse Band has been together for over 7 years, and they haven't missed a beat yet. The band has and will play in various venues and doesn't mind traveling to you. Being led by Alabama Blues Hall of Famer herself, Mrs. Caroline Shine. Impulse has opened up for Bobby Rush, L.J. Eccles, Tank, Fantasia, Calvin Richardson, just to name a few. The Impulse Band will surely fit your need for entertainment. Dial 205-887-6859 or 205-887-5026. Or you can just email them at shinesbrightly@yahoo.com. Caroline Shines and Impulse, the band made just for you.